Today is a very, very busy day when it comes to Minecraft updates because not only have we seen a brand new beta and Snapshot with new music and things like that, but we've also seen the introduction of 1.19.80 release on Bedrock 2. Lots of things to check out today, but I guess since we are in the beta, so we might as well explain that now there is a brand new music disc. I created an entire separate video showing off the entire song in that video. But for what we can hear right now, it sounds very 8-bitty, doesn't it? It's not just me, like, it sounds like a very 8-bit song in my opinion. And that's not the only music you'll hear inside this brand new beta, because across the world inside of, say, cherry groves, deserts, jungles, and mesas, and flower forest biomes, you'll hear a brand new selection of tracks. And honestly, I always leave music off, but since we are checking out some brand new music, we might as well have it on. But yeah, now you should be able to hear 4 brand new songs called A Familiar Room, Broomlide, Crescent Dunes, and Echo in the Wind. And we might be able to hear these throughout this one video, but I guess while we wait for those songs, we might as well mention now the fact that you can actually play sugarcane and bamboo on top of moss now. And there's actually been quite a number of changes to, say, like trail ruins and sniffer eggs and things like that. But something that's actually way more interesting to me is the fact that there's a brand new command called the camera command. It's only available under experimental toggles right now, but to put it simply, it pretty much adds a whole selection of like features you could do with like your camera. Some of them can fade into darkness and some of them can fade into separate colors. So say for example we have just this one right here where we just fade for time 22 seconds to 2 and all that other stuff, then we'll eventually be able to see that things are going to get a little bit darker. Can you see it? If you really notice it, okay, now you're really starting to notice it. Bye pig, bye, I'm not going to be able to see you anymore. Bye pig, bye sugarcane. Everything is just fading right out into darkness. For the amount of time you actually set will determine how long it will actually take to actually fade completely out, and everything is gone. And when the timer is out, you'll be able to see everything again like normal. And while we could listen to several different types of tracks and play around with new commands, let's focus on the now. And speaking of now, 1.19.80 just released in a full version in Bedrock, with, if I'm honest, quite a number of pretty exciting changes, as well as quite a number of maybe not so exciting changes, because as we can see right here, this Ravager is obviously inside that boat, as we can see right here, because I placed that Ravager in there before I updated, because now when I try putting a Ravager in a boat, it would now will no longer happen because the Ravager is obviously much bigger than the boat. Meaning you can only have entities that will actually fit inside the boat in the boat now. But hey, that change might not be so obvious to everyone at first. Something that is very obvious at first is all the potion glints are pretty much gone. This is mainly just to help accessibility and being able to tell which potion is which. And that's not the only glint that's been halved pretty much, because as we can see with this diamond armor right here, all of it is enchanted, but it's really hard to tell right now. See, we have feather falling, protection, and all this stuff, and we pretty much can't tell. You can kind of tell a little bit more when I'm actually wearing it, but as an item, it's pretty much impossible to tell whether these are enchanted or not, unless you hover over them. But if you do want to see the glint just a little bit more, then just head over to accessibility, and then we can see glint strength and glint speed, as we can see. So if we want to turn the glint back up a little bit, and if we want to speed up the glint too, then we can do that now. And okay, that's a little bit more obvious now. It's a tiny bit easier to see them now. There's been quite a number of different animation fixes, one of which being when you actually go from swimming to walking, the animation now changes and has now been fixed. So if we go in here, we go out here, and there we go. And did you see my arms sort of just still raised up a little bit there? Let's do this again. Let's go back into swim. Let's get out of here. And look at that. My arms went up and then down. I mean, obviously, like, that's what happens when you raise your arms and lower them. But I don't know, just still kind of looks a little bit weird in my opinion. And there's what feels like 300 dozen different types of bug fixes and things like that inside this one update. Some to do with realms, some to do with other mobs, some to do with other blocks, and plenty other things like that. But I think the most exciting thing has to happen inside of experimental toggles, because if we go around there, turn all this stuff on, and then we can see short sneaking is now an experimental feature, as well as the next major update in the sniffer stuff. So say if you want to crouch in between 1.5 block tall places, then now you can actually do that, though don't go into third person. Things don't go well when you go into third person. As well as that, for the most part, literally every other Trails and Tales feature is pretty much inside this one update now. Like, as we can see, pretty much all the templates are here, all the pottery shards, pretty much everything we're expecting inside of 1.20 is pretty much here. Apart from, obviously, the brand new music disc that just released today and things like that, pretty much every other 1.20 thing is inside this one update in the experimental tab. Which kind of gives me the impression that my predictions in that one video I just released is a little bit more accurate than we originally thought. Which is obviously very, very exciting, but until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.